Gentle, whimsical intro music fades in and then softens to a background hum. Hello, friends, and welcome back to our cozy corner of the internet. Today, I have a very special story to share with you, a tale from a time long, long ago, when the world was new and magic was as common as the morning dew. This is the story of a little creature who learned that true beauty isn't about fitting in, but about embracing what makes you unique. Get comfortable and let's journey back to the beginning of all things, to discover the legend of the little porcupine's quills. In the very dawn of time, when the mountains were still young and the rivers were just carving their paths, the world was filled with brand new animals. None of them looked quite like they do today. They were all still works in progress, finding their final forms. Among these creatures was a tiny porcupine. But this little porcupine was different. He had soft, pink, and completely bare skin. He didn't have a single quill, not one. He was as smooth as a river stone. Now, this little porcupine was incredibly shy, and his lack of a coat made him feel even more so. Whenever he gathered the courage to venture out of his burrow to play, the other young animals would often stop and stare. A little fox might giggle, "Look at you. You have no fluffy fur." A young bird might chirp from a branch, "You don't have any pretty feathers." Even the little monkey would swing down and tease, "You don't even have a tail to swish. You look so funny." Their words, though perhaps not meant to be cruel, stung the little porcupine deeply. Each laugh felt like a tiny pebble thrown at his heart. He would droop his head, his big, dark eyes filling with tears, and scurry back to the safety of his home. He felt plain, unfinished, and utterly alone. He longed to be beautiful, to have a shimmering coat of fur like the rabbit, or a rainbow of feathers like the parrot. He just wanted to belong. The poor little porcupine felt so sad and ashamed that he decided he could unface the other animals anymore. He found a dark, secluded cave deep within the forest, a place where no one would find him. There, he hid away from the world, crying day after day. His quiet sobs echoed off the damp stone walls, a lonely sound in the heart of the woods. He'd watch the sunlight filter through the cracks in the ceiling and wish he could be brave enough to step into it, but his sadness kept him rooted to the spot. One bright and beautiful morning, as the sunbeams danced through the leaves, the forest fairy was taking her daily stroll. She was the guardian of the woods, her heart full of kindness for every living thing. As she passed by the dark cave, she heard a faint, sorrowful sound. It was the sound of quiet weeping. Curious and concerned, she floated gently toward the entrance and peeked inside. There, she saw the little porcupine curled into a tight ball, his small body trembling with sobs. The forest fairy's heart went out to him. With a voice as soft as a breeze rustling through the trees, she asked, "Why are you crying, little one? What troubles your gentle heart?" The little porcupine was startled. He looked up, his eyes wide and teary, and saw the kind, shimmering figure before him. He sniffled, wiping his nose with a tiny paw. Everyone laughs at me," he whispered, his voice trembling. "They say I'm funny looking because I have no fur or feathers. I just wish I could be beautiful like them. I wish I had something special." The forest fairy smiled, a warm and comforting expression that seemed to light up the dark cave. She sat beside him and said, "Oh, my dear, beauty comes in so many different forms. It's not just about soft fur or colorful feathers. You may not look like the others, but that doesn't mean you aren't special. In fact, it means you have the chance to be special in your very own way." The little porcupine looked at her, confusion mixing with a tiny spark of hope. What did she mean? The fairy stood up and raised her delicate, glittering magic wand. A soft, golden light swirled around its tip. "Close your eyes," she whispered. The porcupine did as he was told, his heart fluttering with a mix of fear and excitement. The forest fairy waved her wand in a graceful arc over his back. And then something truly magical happened. Suddenly, hundreds of tiny silver needles began to sprout all over the porcupine's body. They grew quickly, forming a magnificent coat that gleamed and sparkled in the sunlight that streamed into the cave. They looked like 1,000 tiny spears, a suit of shining armor made just for him. The little porcupine slowly opened his eyes. He felt a new weight on his back, a strange but not unpleasant prickling sensation. He looked down at himself and gasped. He was covered in the most amazing quills he had ever seen. They shimmered like spun moonlight, catching the light and reflecting it in a dazzling display. He was no longer bare and plain. He was magnificent. He exclaimed, his voice filled with wonder. "They're beautiful. They're so beautiful." But he hesitated, a small frown appearing on his face. "Won't they... won't they hurt others?" The forest fairy's smile grew wider. She knelt down again and spoke gently. "These are not just for beauty, little one. They are a gift of strength. They will protect you from danger when you are frightened. But you must use this gift wisely." She tapped one of the quills with her finger, and it felt strong and firm. "Be kind and gentle in your heart," she continued. "Approach the world with an open spirit. Your quills are for defense, not for attack. They are a reminder that you are strong and you deserve to be safe. They are your special kind of beauty." The little porcupine looked at his reflection in a puddle on the cave floor. He saw a creature he didn't recognize at first, a creature that looked strong, confident, and unique. He turned to the fairy, his eyes shining, not with tears of sadness, but with tears of gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you so much." He felt a newfound courage blooming in his chest. He wasn't just beautiful, he was protected. He was special. From that day forward, everything changed for the little porcupine. He no longer hid in his cave. He walked proudly through the forest, his head held high. When he met the other animals, he didn't scurry away. He greeted them with a friendly smile. At first, the other animals were surprised. They saw his shining coat of quills and were a little intimidated. But they also saw the confidence in his eyes and the kindness in his heart. No one laughed at him anymore. Instead, they looked at him with admiration and respect. "Wow, look at your amazing quills," the little fox would say. "They shine like stars." The little bird would chirp. The animals learned that the porcupine was still the same gentle friend on the inside, but now he had an outer strength that matched his inner kindness. He learned to be careful, to move gently so his quills wouldn't accidentally poke his friends, and they learned to give him a little space. He had found his place in the world. And so that is how the porcupine got his sharp and beautiful quills. They weren't just a covering for his skin. They were a gift from the forest fairy, a symbol of courage, a tool for protection, and a lesson in respect. The little porcupine learned that being different wasn't something to be ashamed of. In fact, it was his greatest strength. His story reminds us all that true beauty shines from within, and that sometimes the things that make us different are the very things that make us wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me for this story today. I hope it brought a little bit of magic and warmth to your day. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tales and adventures. Until next time, remember to be kind, be brave, and embrace everything that makes you, you. Bye for now.